Michael is a very loving husband, a professional graphic designer, and a very good friend. In resolution, he receives a troubling email from his old troublemaking friend Chris and decides it's time to confront him about his drug addiction and get him clean no matter what. The only problem is the cabin where Chris is living and where Michael decides to hold this intervention happens to be the home of something so terrifying it makes a meth addict's nightmare look like the Disney Channel. When Michael shows up to the cabin, Chris is already cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, if those Cocoa Puffs were lined with crystal meth. Michael confronts him, he's asking him to get help, but when Chris refuses, his buddy hits him with a couple of 1,000 volts of intervention and a taser and cuffs him to a pipe. Michael is going to stay by his side until Chris gets clean. Now, over the next couple of days, Michael has to deal with Chris's behavior, his old meth buddies that show up, the local Indian tribe whose land they happen to be on, and these terrifying items and clues that show up around the property. When Michael looks into them, he finds that he's picked the worst place on the planet to hold a drug intervention, and that something more than someone is watching them. Now, when you first start watching this film, you're going to ask yourself, really? Is this a horror movie? Yes. The beginning of this movie really does play off like almost a comedy of a friend trying to be there for his buddy to help him beat his addiction, and it completely works as just that. The chemistry between our actors is awesome, and it's even funny at times. But make no mistake, this is a horror film. The supernatural elements are going to happen, well, a little bit here and a little bit there. That terror is going to build as these items just reveal a horrifying history not only of the cabin, but of the area. And I have to tell you, I actually got chills at some of the recordings that came up, of the audio, the visual, just those hints of what went down, got under my skin, got to the bone, gave me goosebumps, still have them right now. A word of warning, though, about resolution. This is not a matter-of-fact, handed to you on a plate horror film. There is a mystery here that you have to pay attention to solve, and it may not be the answer that you were looking for. But truly, this is a movie about a friend trying to help his buddy beat drug addiction, and then together they struggle not only to save their own lives, but maybe their very souls. I thought this was a rich and complex film. It's an independent film with a low budget. And I looked up the directors, the writers, and the actors because I want to make sure that when their next movie hits the stream, I'm there to catch it.